like
Well,
reaching out. I know. I'm the bad guy. How you doing this week?
good.
Good.
We had like a weird situation actually. Right when I got home, she was shaking her head around a bunch, and then on the backs of her ears right here, she almost had like blood, like on the
Interesting.
top of her fur. But like I don't see anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. She also had an ear infection that we're treating right now, so I was like, I don't know. And like this part came loose and it was like flapping around
Sure.
and like smacking her in the head. So I was like, I wonder if it was just like smacking really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna take a look at it in a minute, but
Yeah,
for when we get home.
It's definitely out of the e-collar zone.
Right. And like she had her prong on and was shaking with it, but like it's tight enough that it wouldn't make its way up here. So I don't know. It would have just been like a weird freak.
Yeah, I mean, and looking
Red.
from here, like
I like wiped it off her head too, and then it was gone. So
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see anything like, how do you say, like, that looks...
Irritation.
Yeah.
We checked all around her neck area, and then yeah, it was just on the top of your ear flap. So I was just telling her, we just gave her ear medicine. So I was wondering if she was like laying down for a while and it was leaking, and then it came out, hit her ears, and then like was able to somehow transfer onto both tops of her head, which
Sure.
is really weird.
Yeah, I mean, and then plus with the strap too, like if it made contact and it's just kind of spreading.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I don't know, but then
Yeah.
it was just odd. I think we'll check it out.
I mean, they don't look red.
It's just her right ear is the one that had the ear infection, and
Gotcha.
it's already looking better, honestly. But yeah, it was kind of odd. I did buy one of those bungee collar things too that you guys
Sure.
have been
Would you like
suggesting.
that?
Yeah, so that's supposed to be coming.
What's your number?
30.
Let's go 45. Good.
But other than that, the week has been good.
Yeah.
We've gotten definitely more practice on place, more practice on the stay, like we worked on last week, especially like when we're leaving to go potty or something.
Sure.
To do that before we leave.
Yeah,
Done a little bit more work on recall.
the only thing with stay is very often she kind of gets in the mode where after I step and turn around when coming out of the door, she thinks it's okay for her to start, and then I pull her back, and then she gets it. So I think
She's assuming that you're gonna say.
Right, because
okay.
it's a pattern.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think what I need to do is use the remote more, because that's on times when she doesn't have the e-collar on. So I'm just taking her out with that. So that's what I've noticed as a pattern. And then with me, from a discipline standpoint, she is definitely understanding the concept of the e-collar. And then when she doesn't have the e-collar on, she's kind of more loose and like mischievous, if you will. But from a reactivity standpoint, she's gotten a lot better.
Okay.
You know what's something, sorry,
Yeah.
something that we've noticed is kind of funny with her, once we started doing the place, she almost like, I don't know if she's like thinking she's in place when I like give her like a little rawhide stick or a treat or something that I normally give her on her bed that is her place. She'll look at us and she doesn't have her collar on or anything, and she does her like whining that you've heard her do, like the We're like, you're not in place right now.
Yeah,
It's like
like
she
it's
thinks she is.
Sure.
So that's just been something we've noticed with like actually incorporating that
Yeah.
and like associating her bed to the place and like her having to stay there. That she's almost like confusing the two. Like, when am I actually in place, or am I like she's assuming that she is?
Sure.
I don't know if that's like normal.
Yeah, I mean, they can pick up like on a pattern like that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they were doing direction work with her. What was it, Saturday or Sunday that she came?
She was here Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, and then because I had a couple of clients here at the facility, and I could just hear her like moving around.
She makes so much noise.
Yeah, I mean, she was because she was hanging out just fine.
Yeah.
She was just sitting there like looking at everybody, like just making noises and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I mean, we need to review the procedure for entering the apartment.
Yeah.
Because certainly it's gotten, with her, she's like kind of old bets her off. So we just need to review the step by step.
Yeah, we want to
That's
make sure that we're doing it the right
Oh,
way.
the
We still
pattern.
haven't really had anybody new to come over, so like
Sure.
we need to do a better job practicing together. But I know like the recording got screwed up, so I wanted to go back and reference it, but it's not there.
Yeah.
As far as like essentially like it should be like a knock, and then we're facing her and like telling her to stay behind her line and like tapping her until she gets there. And then once she like calms in that spot, then we're okay to turn around, right? And like go towards the door.
Correct.
And build up to opening it.
Correct.
Right.
So I'm gonna put the video up just to have as reference.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good information there. You just may not see the full action on it.
Yeah.
So there's trigger, right? Doorbell, door knock.
Yeah.
And you approach the door, she may not, if she's there already, or if she follows, is fine. We don't start the process until she's either actively there or we're in the space, okay? So if I go to the door here and she's barking, right? I don't get in front of her immediately. We would start the tapping process and bumping until you see her retreat from the door or disengage.
Okay.
Once you see, 45, she begins to back off. You keep tapping and then cut it in front of her and move in and tap until she goes past that threshold.
The threshold.
Okay, yeah.
Once she's past the threshold, the tapping stops. Let her settle. No stay, no down, no sit, no place.
Right.
Then you turn. She might trigger again and try to run to the door. You start the tapping process, back her off. She goes back, go back to the door. She doesn't move, good. Then we go to the turning the handle, no movement, good. Cracking the door open, no movement, good. Opening the door, she gets up, sorry guest, close door, back her up again, right? So there's several, there's technically or typically 5 or 6 triggers: doorbell, door knock, grabbing the handle, cracking the door open, seeing the guest, and the guest coming in. That tends to be the 5 triggers.
Yeah.
Okay. So each time when I'm going to the next step, I'm anticipating the dog may break position. So I'm always a step ahead. The reasoning for giving your back, of course, is because if you give your back, we're removing confrontational body language.
Right.
That's where she's going to take her. That's where she's going to take advantage and take her opportunity. Oh, you turned around. Now I'm going to charge the door, right? Because if you walk to the door and you open like this, the only reason she's hanging back is because you're facing her.
Right.
Right. So if I turn my back and she charges forward, that tells me she's not ready yet, because she'll hang back even with your back turned. Okay, I mean, she's getting that concept, and she's going, hey, back turn and that turn. My job is to stay back here.
Right.
And then the reasoning with starting the tapping when you're behind her is so you can get to that number, and you're not like wasting time backing her up with your body, and it's not going to do anything mentally. So if I'm tapping and bumping, and then I see her back away with the power before I cut in, I know the tap is actively causing her to disengage.
Yeah.
Okay?
In terms of disengaging, and I mean, obviously we need different repetitions just with both of us, but say when Lauren comes home and comes through the back and we could tell that she was just like kind of all over the place, kept jumping. Should we have the collar on and be tapping her to, stop jumping and...
Correct. Because you want to completely shut down the mindset. Okay? So whether it's being territorial or being excited, the body tells you what the brain is thinking. Okay? So if she sees you guys and she's jumping out of excitement, right? If she sees someone she doesn't know, she's grumbling or barking, she's barking out of territorial behavior, right? So if we shut that down, technically we're not supposed to see anything. What you're going to see, of course, what we saw with Enrique is that residual nervousness, right? Where she was in the corner, she was just panting very heavy and shaking. So that's normal. Now, let's say you're going to have guests over, every day, and you practice this regularly, we should see that go away faster.
Right.
If we have guests once a week, or once every couple of weeks, or once a month, like you're going to be able to, settle her down, but then it's going to be a bit of a period of time before we see her kind of turn around and start to open up with trust. Because trust will not come out if suspicion is on the brain. Okay, so the reasoning for shutting that down is so that curiosity comes out, and curiosity is good. Curiosity is the sniffing, like who are you? And if she's becoming curious, your guests would still ignore her. People tend to make the judgment of like, oh, you're coming to sniff me? Hi. The dog comes back like, whoa, I'm just checking you out, right? Like, and then we take steps back, okay? So I always tell everybody in the beginning, just ignore them, act like they're not there. And then we keep an eye on the nervous responses.
Yeah.
And chances are, if like you're at 85, you get it back from the door and hold there, you know, I would most likely use 85 as my reference point for correcting any nervous responses.
Okay.
Should the person stand up
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've obviously gotten used to making her, you know, the star of the show, and you know, we kind of feed into her excitement and all of that probably more. So I'm wondering, in terms of the next step for us, is with all of her kind of jumps and all of that, if we should start kind of shutting that down. So
Yeah.
I would guess we don't want her running and just jumping on them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like the client I had this morning, the dog headbutted one of her friends.
Yeah,
And it's a nervous dog.
yeah,
And what happened was they came in, and they're like, oh, hi, how are you? And the dog like just freaked out and barked and jumped up, and boom, guy got a concussion.
wow.
You know, so dog didn't bite him, but got him good in the head.
Yeah.
And you know, knocked him out. So even excited energy can be harmful.
Yeah.
Or like, let's say you come in and you dressed up nice. She's jumping all over you, like messing up your nice clothes, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're walking into the room with like hot soup and she's like, hey, I haven't seen you in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You're not over hot soup, you know? I don't care that Cashew jumps on you. I care whether or not she's been given permission. Okay, so you can teach her, when we come in, like, you don't jump on us, ever. But when we say, okay, up, or jump, or whatever your cue is,
Yeah.
now you can come up and we can pet you and all that stuff because it's by invitation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the main thing. Is you can have, so to speak, your cake and eat it too, right? Where it's like, okay, I don't want you to jump on us, but then I want you to jump at certain times. And then you give permission, right? And then you can teach as a default, you don't jump on anybody, whether it's excitement or whatever, unless given permission.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, and this is the hard part, people get dogs for companionship, but dogs don't need companionship, right? That's for the human. That makes us feel good to see our dog happy or excited or whatever. But then when we get a dog like Cashew, we're taking steps forward and back, right? Because you're trying to be an authority, but at other times you're just like, Cashew, right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, hey, don't ruin it.
Yeah.
And then that's where we get, the dog gets mixed messages,
Yeah.
right? Because we don't tell our friends what to do.
Yeah,
Right? Like I don't tell my friends what to do, they're grown men.
yeah,
My employees don't tell me what to do, because I'm the employer. I tell my employees what to do, right? So that's a relationship. It's like mom and dad to child. I could not tell my mom what to do. I could say, hey mom, can I please have a sandwich? Right? And then maybe she needs me a sandwich. Or she's like, no, make your goddamn own sandwich, right? But if I told her, mom, make me a sandwich,
That wouldn't go over well.
that wouldn't go over well. I think we
Yeah.
can all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Because of that relationship. So that's the thing with dogs. And when it comes to affection, again, I'm not opposed to it. I'm just selective of when I apply it, right?
Yeah.
She's done really good, you know, duration work where she's healing really well. A dog came by, no reactivity, or not dog, or human, whatever, you know, good girl. But again, that affection is passive affection. Because if I go, good girl, and then I'm just rallying her up and excitement very easily tips
Yeah.
into nervousness.
yeah, because we, ever since you told us, I believe that was last week, when she was like kind of
She's
jumping
like
on
pushing
us and
against
like
us
pushing
to
on
like get
us.
our attention.
And observing how much she does that,
Mhm.
and like with me, when I was, you know, getting ready for training, and then she was up, and then she started like, wanting, like pawing on me or doing things like that. So it happens a couple of times a day, including when she's not ready to shut it down or relax.
Mhm.
But when I'm relaxed and maybe Lauren's up doing stuff, she would get excited with me, so she would like kind of transfer her
Mhm.
excitement. So I guess we're now observing more of how many times per day that.
How it's happening, yeah,
Yeah, how it's
We're
happening.
aware of it, now that we're looking for it.
Yeah, and it's because most people are not aware of it because when they either like it,
Yeah,
you know, or it's just like the dog's not doing anything bad. But it's not so much that the dog's doing something bad, it's just how they perceive you and the environment, right? So like, as a kid growing up, I couldn't run around the house screaming,
yeah,
right? If I did get loud, my mom was like, take it outside,
yeah,
okay? Or like, no, you're not gonna do that, go to your room, it feels raining or whatever. There was rules put into place. Whereas for dogs, it tends to be excused.
yeah,
And it's really more so just because of the personality type that Cashew has. I get plenty of people who allow the same stuff, and dogs perfectly fine because different personality type.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
so it's kind of I give information, and then you of course go like, no, don't want to do that, but then understand that if you don't do certain things or change certain things, you're stuck with something, right?
Yeah.
So if I have someone who's like, this is an example, that sleeps with the dog in the bed, and the dog has terrible separation anxiety, okay, and I remove everything else, and the dog still has separation anxiety, the last thing the owner is doing is sleeping with the dog in the bed. And I say, stop that if we're going to get to fixing the separation anxiety. And the owner goes, no, I'm not going to change that. And I go, well, then you're going to have to deal with separation anxiety.
Right.
Because that's too much attachment for your dog to handle, you know? And I just give them the information. I'm like, whether you do it or
You
not,
can do what you will with it.
not my problem. I gave you the info.
Right.
You do what you want, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
So-
because in terms of like cops on, cops off, she's obviously way better with it on. And then last night, I thought that I'd like played with her, some, and then took the e-collar off because she was laying down, and then she went up and grabbed the rope, and I kind of played with her, wanted to play some more, and then I backed off and sat down, and Laura's in the other room, and she did a really, not aggressive, but like playful, like loud bark at me to try to piss me off, and then I get up and try to get the bonker because I want to do it, and she bolts.
Yep.
And she bolts into the bedroom,
Yep.
and then she jumps on the bed and is like
Kind of like
frenzied,
doing zoomies on the bed.
freaked out, and we closed the door, and then I kept her in the bonker until she relaxed, and eventually she did it, but that's a very common trend with me, is where she does the bark, and then,
The bolts.
yeah,
So, when you did the bonker corrections,
yeah.
how many would you say you have to do before you felt her relax?
Last night, over 10.
Jesus, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and I don't know because I can't see it.
Yeah.
One thing you could do again is film it and send it to me.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll go like, okay, what is intensity? Okay, is if ideally, so that 3-tap rule, remember,
Yeah.
also applies to corrections, like via prong collar, or applies to bonker corrections, or if I'm doing hand corrections.
Yeah.
I do that same kind of rule, because then I ramp up faster, right? Because if I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10 in terms of escalation,
Right.
it's going to take me a long time. So if I do 3, and I'm like, oh, that didn't work, then I jump to 6, and oh, that didn't work, then I jump to 10. So
Yeah.
within 3 corrections, I'm up there, right? But also take into consideration the next time she does that, okay, is you want to think, I ended at this intensity before it stopped.
Yeah.
So then I would start at that intensity the next time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's the same thing with e-collar, right? Like
Yeah.
if 50 worked last time, then and it took me 10 taps, but when I got to 50, that's when it worked. Then the next time I just start at 50.
Yeah.
Okay?
But with e-collar on, she's fine. But then she's still just trying to kind of test her boundaries. And maybe it wasn't 10 times, but it was multiple times.
Sure.
Where she was still just like in a frenzied state.
And keeping tabs on the number of corrections is
Yeah.
good, because that tells you progress. So like let's say you try it again, you remember the intensity, the next time you do it, you start at that intensity, and then it drops down to only 2 corrections or 3
Yeah.
corrections. Then I go, great. And if you had to ramp it up, start at that last one, right? So the reason why she's gonna keep repeating that behavior is because the correction that got it in her brain to stop didn't happen until later. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? As opposed to right off the bat. And did I give you the Doberman example
I think
with the
you
wiffle bat?
mentioned it to us, but I don't know if you sent me the video, but
No, I think I explained it.
you were explaining it like that. A lot of people commented that it was like really aggressive.
Yeah.
Maybe because it took her like 20
Correct.
bonker corrections to get the dog to back,
back off. Correct. And so the whole thing was also is that we do it until the dog backs off.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's the dog going, okay, this isn't fun. Okay, but ideally within that 3 correction rule. In that particular video, it was because it was a fear aggressive dog. So the only problem I had was because it was a fearful dog, that I wouldn't have done such a confrontational approach. But technically, the theory that she was applying is correct.
Right.
I am going to correct the dog until the dog retreats from the behavior. Same thing here. Okay.
Yeah.
And always neutral. Take your time. A good, well thought out, placed correction that's at a good intensity is more effective than several.
Right.
Okay, so if you ever see me with the dog going nuts, or if I have to correct the dog myself with a cease long correction, whatever, you'll see me wait, and then when I find my moment, boom,
Yeah.
then I correct. Okay, because it'll register or kind of resonates
Yep.
much better.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure too, like in that specific scenario, like what we could probably do to improve, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like if we know we're about to like play with her for a little bit, have the bonker on hand,
Mhm.
so that if she, like, once we are like, all right, we're done, that if she doesn't get that cue and does the same thing to you instead of, I think sometimes we both find ourselves like, shit, where's the bonker? Like,
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
yeah.
find it in the moment, and then by that time,
You need, like,
she's
a
already done
Batman
the
belt.
bolt.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
bonker
like
on.
she's already
Yeah.
bolted, and then to your point, then it's like we're chasing her and she's thinking it's fun, and then get
Correct.
into it. So like
Oh.
doing it closer to when it happens.
Yes, and the other thing was that you, if I heard you correctly, collar was on, you removed it, and then you said she brought you a rope, and then you played with her.
Yeah.
Do we see that conversation?
Mhm.
Yes.
What's the conversation?
Cops are off.
Yeah.
Cops are off,
Play.
and what else?
And
Well, she brought the rope, so she initiated it,
Correct.
so she's telling
She
dad
said,
what to do.
play with me.
Yep.
And then you said I played with her for a little bit, and then I decided to end it. But she technically started it,
Yeah.
right? Right when the collar came off.
yes.
So then I would actually, if I took the collar off and she came to me for playtime, I'd actually correct that. Don't tell me when you want to play. I'll let you know when I want to play.
Mhm.
Got it.
Okay? So like, if we have a dog in the playpen and they're resting,
Yeah.
they're deciding, I don't want to play right now. And another dog comes up and goes, play with me. Rawr, boom. Right? Nip or bite or, warning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the puppy or dog goes, you don't want to play right now. And they walk away.
Mhm.
Right? That's them setting a boundary.
Yeah.
And then 15 minutes later, dog gets up, shakes it off, and goes, I want to play now.
Yeah.
And then initiates play. So that's actually leadership. Okay? It looks aggressive, it looks mean, but like I decide things here,
Mhm.
not the employees, other than when they take their break time.
Yeah.
Right? But it's also like you can't take a break longer than an hour or whatever it is,
Mhm.
right? So, but I'm the one putting rules to things. So it's the same thing here. I'm not saying don't play with your dog.
Yeah.
Saying play with your dog when you decide you want to play with her.
And I think that's the exact thing, is we
Yeah.
give Cashew free reign of when she wants to play and doesn't want to play.
Yes.
Yeah, and
And
we
that's-
feed into it.
and then
Because
we-
we're like,
we
oh, you have
feed into it.
energy.
Oh, you
You
have
need to
energy,
like
play.
burn it off.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
And it's not energy, it's just the fact that she can.
Yeah.
right.
You
I
know,
think
she has
that's at
the
least
toy box and she
the
comes over and
mentality that
grabs
we were
it.
in when we were doing a lot of positive reinforcement, like wear them out, like
Yeah.
all that.
So this is the thing about the energy thing, is dogs are not meant to be in houses,
Mhm.
Yeah.
sleeping all day on the couch, right? Guaranteed 2 to 3 or however many meals she gets a day, plus treats,
Yeah.
right? Dogs are meant to hunt and travel and miss meals and maybe not eat for a few days
Mhm.
before they finally get their meal. That's, like even as humans, same thing, we're not guaranteed, we're not supposed to be guaranteed 3 meals a day. We're afforded that because of, all the farms and
Luxuries
stuff
of
like
life,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. But we're not meant to have 3 meals either. We're meant to be out hunting and all that stuff and harvesting. And if we have a failed harvest, then we gotta ration our food or whatever, right? So same thing for the dog is, so like Cesar Millan, if I remember this correctly, because I read like his first 3 books, is when he used to walk dogs, he would walk dogs for 8 hours.
Wow.
Gosh.
In California.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Okay, that was his job, walking dogs for 8 hours, and that's why his methodology works well for him, because they still do that.
Mhm.
They still have their dogs out doing, pool time, treadmill time, going on long hikes during on his property of trail and all that stuff.
Mhm.
They're exercising dogs crazy amounts, right?
Yeah.
That is not realistic for the average dog owner,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Especially in the city.
Yeah, so it's really just the rule of you don't do that, So me, again, super strict mom, couldn't swear in front of my mom. And I remember I used to go to my best friend's house, his name was Neil, and he used to swear left and right in front of his parents.
Yeah.
Why? Because they allowed it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I didn't swear at his house, because the rules of my house,
Still applied.
yes, right?
Yeah.
So same thing here, she does it because it's allowed her to be enforced.
Right.
And, she's got a mindset now, doesn't mean she can't unlearn that mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you go along with Cashew, you start noticing things, and just remember, Jesse's not saying to not do them.
Right.
Jesse's not saying to be a mean jerk.
Mhm.
Jesse's just saying,
Like
think about what
recognize
you're
when they
reinforcing
happen.
and when you apply them.
Yeah.
And on ideally the human terms, because then you get that barking, demanding type
Right.
dog. Okay.
Which is what
Which
she
is
is
cute.
kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, because people tend to look at like, oh, the reactivity is bad, and then like the grumbling and the growling when people come over is bad, but the other stuff isn't bad. But
It's all the same.
ties together.
Yeah,
Larger. Yeah.
Perfect. Anything else?
that pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
So, what we're going to cover today were the last two kind of formal commands, because we've done heal, place, the first half of recall, stay. So what's left is the sitting down, I believe.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, we did.
We had, I think, initially introduced it, but yeah, we didn't do.
Oh, yeah, you were saying
You
that
talked
this week
about
to
it.
work on doing back to down. So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, like I did it a couple times and she was like immediately.
Perfect.
Like she
Yeah.
knows it.
So what we're going to do here is, you're at what number now, 45?
44. Yeah.
44, let's go ahead and go down, we're going to go down to 25, because we're layering something that's technically something new via remote. You can see it now.
Literally.
I understand why, because she stared directly into my eyes.
Stairs. What we doing?
So don't worry about putting her in heel, but just keep her on that left side. You can go ahead and stand up here.
For right side, because
Oh, right side,
we did
correct,
right
yeah.
side.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to place her in a safe position. All right. And actually, I'm going to come a little bit more forward. This way she doesn't try to retreat. Perfect, right there. All right. And you're going to let the right hand go slack, and we're going to actually move the prong and rotate it so that live ring is more so like on the bottom of her neck.
Oh, this one?
Correct. There you go, perfect, okay? And what you're gonna do is with your right foot, leash in your left hand, yep, is you're gonna step on that little U part, okay? And you're gonna pull up your leash slightly to create some downwards pressure on the
Okay.
prong collar.
Release on my heel.
Right there. A little more. And tap. Tap. Yeah, be careful, don't slip. Tap. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. Go ahead and you're gonna rotate just a little bit to your right. Right, and you're gonna, you see how she went down lower?
Mhm.
So she's creating some slack. You're gonna just slide or your foot over or bring up some of that leash again. And let's bring that remote down to 10.
Okay.
Tip. Pull up a little bit more. Yep. Tip. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Almost.
Let's give her room to lay down and
Yeah,
try to get her.
yeah. Wait a second. Give it tip. Wait a second. Tip. Let's go to 5 on the collar. And if you can take up more slack, go ahead and pull that leash up. There you go. Tap. Tap. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. Tap. Tap. Almost. What you're gonna do here is with your right hand, I'm gonna have you just gently press down towards the back on her shoulders. Like this. Yeah. Do you feel resistance?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and relax your pressure. We're gonna reset.
Okay. Okay. You didn't like that, did you?
She's like, all the sucky stuff happens when Jesse's around. And up and tap. Good. And then go ahead and put the foot on the, yep, lightly pull up like that. And what you're also gonna do is with that right hand, you're gonna gently and lightly press down and back. Okay? Like that, yep. Tap. 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 Careful. Tap. The first one is always the hardest.
Mhm.
Once we get over the first one, we're good. And if you need to, you can also choke up on your leash with the left
Yeah.
hand, so it gives you a bit more leverage where you're not having to lift up so much.
They're bracing with their
know.
arms.
Fighting this guy.
Tap. 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 One more. Tap. 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 Can you feel her actively pushing up?
Like, I don't know if it's her being so strong and like muscular, or if
Uh-huh.
she's really pushing against me.
Yeah.
I can see her like, she's like buckled in.
Yes.
I'm
So
like pushing up.
So what we're doing here is she's going like this. Right?
Yeah.
She's pushing back. She's
Yeah.
pushing back. So this is active resistance. This is normal.
Yeah.
Okay. I just gotta get it figured. 1 second. We're gonna switch the color.
Come on, give me a break. Sit. She's down for food, but not for. I was like, well, this one doesn't have any words to it,
Right.
so she's, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, you can tell she probably was, just solely treat motivated, or like she knows that there's a reward.
Mhm.
And like, this is no reward. She's laying down.
Right. But
Stubbornness is in full swing. She doesn't want to lay down or be commanded to lay down.
like almost got there.
I think she could still like braced, like it's from her back.
This is kind of big, so I can't get any closer to
Yeah.
that.
Like she was hunkered down with her paws.
I saw
Like it's
it.
out from the back, like,
So I was like holding her,
and she was like,
like trying to leap down on top of her. We're at 5, so that's not too
Yeah,
bad.
you went a little bit.
No, it's looking pretty small.
I think the purple one might be.
I think we either had the purple one, or I know when we came for our consult, she had an orange one that was just like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, we ran out of orange ones because I think one got given away by accident, and then one was in use, and then the other one got borrowed. I think this actually might fit her.
Yeah, I think I remember because she was so reactive that first.
Oh yeah, we switched
That
her
thing, we
out.
swapped it out because we wanted to make sure it was really tight. On top of the collar.
Above the
Higher.
top collar. There you go.
Yeah, I remember this one because it was like, it's still pretty.
Okay,
big,
it should be okay
but
for now.
For what we're doing.
Yeah, because what I want is less pressure on her neck, at least negative pressure.
Mhm.
This is going to be more of a
So
neutral
she's
because it's
like
blunt.
easing into it.
Yeah. Then we'll clip the leash to the flat collar.
okay.
There we go. Then we'll go back down to that 5 range.
So same thing.
Correct.
Should have worn like sliding shoes at the bottom.
Here, push your butt down. Tap. Tap. Good. Good. I'm go ahead and choke up with your left hand on that leash to give you, yeah, that's much better. Give your leverage, yourself leverage. There you go. Tap. Tap. Tap.
She's just.
I'll go ahead and bump your number here. Let's go to 10. Tap. 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 Tap.
Oh, she's so strong.
Watch that. Go ahead and take a step forward here. And now you're gonna push your butt down first. Yep. Right, Good. And then on the right hand, just subtle pressure. If you feel like you're doing a workout, you're pushing too hard, okay? Tap. Tap. Wait, almost. Tap. 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 Try more at the shoulder. There you go, tap. Tap. Let's go to 13. Go ahead and bring your leg on the other side of her. Yeah, there you go. Better. 10. 10. 16. This is normal, by the way.
Okay, just making sure. You've seen
Yeah.
this
We
happen
know she
before.
can be stubborn, so.
For me, I just get so, because I'm like, yeah, I see this all the time. Tap.
Yeah.
Tap. 19. That's why I was saying to revisit the down, so that it was fresh in the head, because it makes it easier when you're putting pressure on it. Because the last thing the dog's been doing for the whole week is down.
Mhm.
Okay.
Tip. You don't happen to have food on you, do you?
No.
Nope.
No spare treats.
No.
So stubborn. Hey, Cashew.
Okay. Yep, I know, it's training, it's hard.
Oh.
Is she okay with chicken?
Yeah,
Okay.
as long as they're not the peanut butter ones. A nut named dog, peanut butter, of those ones, she gets the shits.
I am not seeing any peanut butter.
Oh no, we've given her those ones before, as long as they're chicken. They have a peanut butter flavor that,
No, she was just sitting on her chair, also it was like pushing her fur.
yeah, I think it was just.
We're gonna do some tag team here. Okay? So who's gonna do the leash and foot stuff?
I
Is it
can
gonna be
do
you?
it. Okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna give you some food here. What you're gonna do is when Lauren puts pressure on the back of her neck and taps, you're with the food gonna slowly pull down. Because we're gonna kind of do this simultaneously. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
So go ahead and place, get her in position first. Okay, and then you're gonna put pressure on the leash. Okay. Sure, solid. Yep. Go ahead and give her a freebie, just to see if she is okay. Perfect.
It's like, yeah.
So now go ahead and pull up on the leash, okay? And then here, push down the butt, tap, tap. And then with your hand, as you pull up and tap, he's gonna lure down with the food, okay? Yep. Yep. Almost. Shoot. When you do down with her,
I'm usually in front of her.
okay, so keep where you're at, no remote. With your food, just don't feed her, just lightly go down like this.
Okay.
Or not lightly, slowly. To the nose again. Yep, and then slowly down.
Hey.
Give her a feeding.
Hey.
Okay, so she's not that stressed. She's gonna take it. So now try again to the nose and then slowly down. Back to the nose and straight down the front of her. I'm assuming at home this was easy peasy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's because we're putting pressure behind it.
Yeah.
One more second. She okay with beef?
With what?
Beef?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, that's the deal.
I don't know if I've ever done That's your head. You're a little stressed. I see your tail looking crazy. Ready? Sit. Down.
Yeah.
Stay. Wonder if it's because like, I normally say the word and she's like,
Yeah.
"Is that?" Take a lot of logistics trying to like, pull, press the tag, like push down on this. Also keep leverage. Yeah.
Down. Stay.
Oh,
We got her to do it, but like the way we do it at home.
okay,
Yeah.
go ahead and show me.
Hey, come.
You want me to do it or have
I'll
Lauren
do
do
it.
it?
She was doing
However you did it right now.
Okay.
Sit.
Sit. Down.
Okay, do a couple more reps.
Sit. Down.
She smells like over here.
I bet. She's like, give me some. Okay.
One more.
Okay.
Okay.
Down.
Perfect. So now, I'm gonna go back to the step on the foot,
Mhm.
but lay off the remote.
Okay.
Okay, so no remote, we're gonna see if she'll do the leash pressure on the collar with the food.
So like I'll be doing just this part.
Yeah, and
And
just
then
put-
is he doing the positive stuff too?
Correct, so I'm gonna reel in some leash a little bit, so just enough that you feel pressure on the back of her neck, okay? Now feet. Perfect, I'm gonna try that 2 more times.
Okay. Come on. Come. This way. Where are you going? Just the foot. Come here. Now you do the.
Pull up a little bit more. Good. Here.
Oh boy.
Doing the whole thing?
No,
No.
piece, a little piece.
Yeah.
There you go. Good. Now feet. Perfect. So what we're gonna ease her into the remote pressure.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm trying to create here is when she feels pressure from that flat collar on the back of her neck, that without the remote, that's teaching her to lay down.
Okay.
And then we're gonna lay a remote over that.
Okay.
Okay. Let's put the pressure on first. Okay, then stop her, push her back down, good. Continue with leash pressure, hold off on the treat. Breathe in a little bit of leash here. I know, she put it like an awkward position. Breathe in a little bit more.
Not wear the right shoes for this. Like extra grippy.
Should I lower her down now?
Go ahead, try now. Good. On this one, part of the issue is that the leash inlay
Right.
underneath her arm. We're going to keep it in the front. So what we're trying to do here is that when you pull up on the leash, and the collar hits the back of her neck, that makes her down
Mhm.
without needing the food as a lure.
Right.
Okay?
Okay, come on. She's like, I hesitate.
Right? And then push down on the butt. Right? And relearn some of that leash. Okay, almost, wait a moment. Yep, almost. Now here, with the food, to the nose, and as he's doing that, just follow her down with your hand on the shoulders. Like that, now feet. Perfect, we'll try that 2 more times.
Okay.
Now feet. Perfect.
That was a good one.
Good
One
girl.
more.
Good girl.
Figured out my strategy around not having her foot in front of it.
Welcome to being a dog trainer.
I know, right? Oh, okay. Oh, nope, not like that. Thought she was gonna go down. Try this again.
Actually, this is the best training session yet. Perfect.
Good girl.
Now, we're at what number on the remote?
20.
Let's go down to 5 again. What we're gonna do is real subtle pressure on the back of the neck, and we're gonna give that tap on 5, and it should just, ideally her just lay down.
Mhm.
Okay, we're gonna see what she does, but we're just slowly stacking pressure on top of this.
Mhm.
So the reason why we're doing it this way is I know she knows down, you showed me, right?
Right.
But when you try to put pressure behind it, that's the problem.
Mhm.
So like if she laid down, or if you told her to down and then she got up and you try to remote her, she's gonna jump out of position as opposed to go into position.
Okay.
So this is why we have to put like pressure on it.
Mhm.
But this is also why we went down so much lower, is again, e-collar makes dogs move, right?
Mhm.
So we started at what, 20, then down to like 10, and then down to 5?
Yeah.
Because it was making her too jumpy.
Yeah.
And then the prong collar was also making her too jumpy. So I'm trying to alleviate as much negative pressure as possible.
Right.
And put it in real subtly, so she goes, oh, like there's nothing to freak out about, this just is telling me to do this now.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yep.
So I'm gonna release her.
Okay. So you said this one's like very light tap.
Correct, very light. Almost. Now feet. Like that.
It's like I was thinking through it with her. You gonna do this?
Yes.
Good.
Good girl.
Yeah, and we're not gonna care that she gets up, okay? On her own. Because
Okay.
we just care about her going down easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once we get that good, then we can worry about her breaking the position.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Well.
So here, lightly pull up and give a tap. 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 A little bit more, we'll pull up. Tap. Tap. Good girl. Okay. And then the leash pressure. Good, thank you. I'm gonna do one more.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Like
good
waiting for her to
girl.
come in. Break.
Now this one, what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna have you say the word down. You're not gonna do any leash pressure, you're just gonna tap first.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do about 2 to 3 taps. If she doesn't respond, you're gonna keep tapping and then step on the leash.
Okay. Down.
Good.
Good girl.
Good. Break.
Break.
Good, we'll do it 2 more times.
I'll play for the guy with the meat. Down.
Good. On this next one.
Good girl.
It was almost down.
On this next one,
Break.
tap continuously until she goes all the way down.
Okay.
Okay.
Down.
Right. Perfect.
So,
Like that. That
like
was
as
good.
soon as I see her start going into it, or until her like elbows are down.
Until her elbows are down.
Okay.
Because here, she already had an idea of down, right? We put a little bit of pressure on it and you're cueing it, and she's going down quickly, which I like.
Mhm.
But because we didn't get to layer it how I normally do it, I'm really trying to make sure that she's understanding that pressure means
Doesn't
go
mean
into
bad,
the position.
right?
Exactly.
It just means
just go
get
with this,
there.
right? So in the future, let's say she's in a down, you're 20 feet away, she starts to get up, you tap her, she just
Okay.
goes back down into it. That's why we have to reteach it with the pressure.
Yeah.
Okay? Otherwise, you tap her, she runs off.
Right.
Okay? Let's try a couple more, doing it just how you did it right now.
With multiple taps. Okay.
Correct.
Down.
Yeah. In your food. Good girl. One
Great.
more. Up, tap, 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 tap,
Cashew.
right, and then relax, perfect, okay,
Down.
right there, perfect. So now, after he feeds, she's gonna stay in that position. Okay, what you're gonna do here, tap, tap. Perfect. That's what I wanted to see,
Yeah.
okay, and you
Revert
did,
back to it.
correct, and you did well with not repeating the command, because of course we don't repeat commands.
Right.
But the reason why that was so good was because she laid back down with the taps.
Mhm.
Okay, that's all I wanted to
Pressure.
see, was with the pressure, she'll go into the position,
Uh-huh.
okay? So here, because we want to make sure we keep layering that in and she's understanding this is what I'm supposed to do, is I'm going to have you shorten your leash like you were going to do a stay, and you're just going to step out away from Cashew, okay? And move around, just like the stay. Yep, and then hold tap, tap, tap. Yep, keep going. Go ahead and bump it to 8. Right. There we go.
So this is like the.
Correct. And then just move around. Good. And back to her side. And a little bit of salt. Good. And wait a moment. You're gonna step out again. She's supposed to stay put. Good. Go ahead and move around. Excellent. And then back by your side. And cue the break.
Break.
Okay, we're gonna try that 2 more times.
Sometimes we also don't know if she's understanding break the right way.
Oh, sure.
Or like she's still catching on to it, because we use it for like when we're having her wait, when we're making her food.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's the same concept technically. In that case, it just means you can eat your food now.
Yeah.
Up.
Oh, I was tapping her to go down, sorry.
Oh, did you down her?
I didn't say down. I just did the tapping.
Okay, well, if you tapped her and she responded, then technically that's still a down. It's just a nonverbal one.
Mhm.
I'm going to step away. Good, a little clench. Tap, tap, tap. Perfect. Go ahead and feed that. Now, technically, we normally wouldn't feed that because that was a correction,
Mhm.
right? But at this stage, because I'm trying to use every opportunity when she breaks position to go back into it,
Yep.
we're feeding it just to motivate her, okay? But then once we feel like she's got a good concept, then I go to the rule of I only feed for the
One more
initial
strip
performance.
out.
If you don't break, but not for corrections.
Mhm.
Okay, let's try one more.
Or walking away from
Go
her.
ahead and do a walk around and then you'll release her, yeah.
Break.
Good.
And so then this one will be like the normal down tap until she goes down. Nope.
Right, good,
Down.
good.
If you did.
And then you'll step away. Good, walk around.
Other way.
Oh, switch now.
Oh, get tricky with you.
Excellent. Now here, go ahead and give her a lot of praise. Good girl. Good. Good. And praise.
Good girl.
Good. Yeah. Right. Good. Praise. Oh, she can relax a bit. Like that.
Good girl.
Excellent. So like there, when you removed it from her paw, distraction, right?
Mhm.
Doesn't mean she can get up.
Right.
Okay. So if I get like where the dog's on the leash and stuff, I'll do stuff like that so that they break the position and then I correct them. So it's
Right.
like, no, you have to stay put.
Like
okay?
proof it, yeah.
So good. So now we can see that she's got a fairly decent concept of going down into position. Okay. So now we're going to cover the sit. So now we have all 6 formal commands layered with remote, and it's super simple.
Mhm.
You are actually already doing it. So what do you think you're going to do for the sit?
The pull up.
You're going to do the
And then
pull
if
up.
she gets out of it, tap her, but say sit
Correct.
with the pull up.
Correct. So you're going to cue sit first, start tapping, and then if no response by that second or third tap, keep tapping and then apply
Okay.
subtle pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And then once she pops up, we'll then feed.
Mhm.
Okay?
Because by this point, with her using the prong collar, she should already kind of know.
Correct.
Break. Sit. Oh.
So here, so go ahead and correct that, right? Wait a moment. Cue the down.
Down.
Okay, we'll go ahead and feed this. You're not going to step away on this one. Go ahead and cue the sit.
Sit.
Tap. Tap. There you go. Up, tap. Now feed.
Yeah, that's weird.
And I get another half over here if you're running low. Okay. Down.
Down.
Good. Feed.
Sit.
Tap. Tap.
Yeah, she got that like the third time.
That's fine. Good. Now we're gonna pause right here, okay? This is what they call puppy push-ups. Sitting and downing.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's never done that before.
No?
Not really,
Should I
no.
get some abs?
It's only sit down. It's,
As if she
Oh,
needs
never
any more
clean that up.
muscle.
yeah, we never did coming back up, right?
Gotcha.
It was, yeah, the sit with
Yeah.
the raise the
It
arm
was pretty
up,
much just like,
down, woohoo.
Yes.
She did it, and then that's it.
So these commands are meant to be functional,
Yeah.
whereas I think now they're looked at as tricks.
mhm.
Yeah,
So we have 3 duration or stationary commands: stay, place, down, sit.
Mhm.
Sit is momentary.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you're gonna have a conversation with the neighbor or something like that, momentary.
Yeah.
But if it's gonna be anything extensive, down or place.
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah,
So here, yeah, very good. For a dog, sit from down and sit from stand, down from sit, and down from stand are different things.
okay,
Okay, because of the way their body moves.
Mhm.
So that's why we have to go through them in different positions.
Yeah.
yeah,
Trainers will tell you never teach the down from a sitting position because in competition, it affects how dogs down.
Mhm.
So if a dog learns to down from a sit, what happens is they'll sit, then down. Okay, it's looked down
Instead of-
upon in the competition. I don't care about that stuff. I sit the dog down. It's easier to teach a dog down from sit than from stand. Okay, with pressure at least. So here we taught the down first. You had already technically taught the sit way back when,
With
right?
heel,
The heel,
yeah.
exactly. So now we just are teaching, when I say formal, I mean sit verbal cue with pressure.
Mhm.
Okay, so then we just start to go between the 2 commands. Okay, this helps her clarify between the 2. Now the reason why we took a pause here is if we keep doing sit down, sit down, sit down, what's going to happen?
Assuming it's coming.
every single time she's gonna do it. Yeah.
Correct, right? Which is kind of what she did right there, right? She
Yeah.
started to lay down and you corrected her. So right now I took this little tangent here to talk, assuming she was going to try to preemptively down,
Mhm.
which allowed you to then correct her.
Mhm.
So now she's learning, oh, sit is sit
Yeah.
and down is down. I can't go between them on my own, okay? So the problem that we're going to have here is during the heel, you might see her prematurely down now. Okay,
Mhm.
the way you
As like when we stop, and then
Correct.
she kind of like thinks that she's gonna go down too.
correct.
Okay.
Okay, so the way we would fix that is when you're in a heel, you come to a stop. Should we see Cashew begin to lay down, you wouldn't say anything. You would just start tapping and lightly pull up. Okay, so then she learns, oh, if I'm in a heel and I go into a sit and default into a down, I'm going to be countered with no warning back into a sitting position,
Mhm.
okay? And then eventually that problem goes away.
Yeah.
When you do this exercise, you do want to vary the length of time between each command.
Mhm.
So don't go down, sit, down, sit, down, sit, down, sit too many times in a row, because then you're going to create that problem, okay? So you could do like a down to a sit to a down, and then step away, do a walk around,
Mhm.
and go into a sit, or give her a break, walk for a bit, and then start a whole new pattern.
Yeah.
But you're just varying it so she doesn't pick up on a pattern.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Kind of like our door thing, making sure we like don't always say like stay.
Correct.
Wait 3 seconds. Go. Then she
Yes.
like assumes the 3 seconds.
Yes, you want to vary that length of
Mhm.
time. Okay, so same concept here with the sit and down exercise. This you want to isolate. This exercise, 3 to 5 minutes, one session apiece, you'll be fine.
Mhm.
Okay, once you feel like she's got a solid concept between the two, then we just go to application. Okay, questions by any of this so far?
I don't think so. I mean, when she's in
So
heel and we're walking and we stop, are we supposed to say sit again? Or do we let her default like auto sit?
With the heel?
Yeah.
Correct. So the auto sit is built into the heel.
Okay.
Aside from heel, we don't need to say anything else, right?
Okay.
So if she broke position, you would simply just tap. She should go back into it with no words.
Mhm.
Okay? Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. She straightens up. Okay. Go ahead and cue her into down.
down.
Right. Go ahead and do that.
Because yeah, in terms of how it's ingrained with her, when we like first started walking her at intersections, she's good at when she feels pressure, she sits automatically, or
Well, when we slow down.
when
that's part of the
we
heel.
slow down as part of the heel,
Mhm.
she already has that ingrained in her.
Okay.
But
So he's saying we don't have to say sit in that
Yeah.
situation unless we decided to put her like into a down, then
Yeah.
we would cue a down.
Correct.
And then now she's in down and we break and go into a heel.
You can
Right,
actually just
in
go straight
theory.
into the heel. You could break too. So your new command overrides your old command.
Right.
So if, like right now, she's in the down,
Down,
right?
yeah.
So if you stepped away, she shouldn't move.
Right.
okay,
But then you come back, you could just go straight into the heel, and she'd just stand up and start walking with
Mhm.
you.
Okay.
So heel wouldn't mean pop up into a sit. Heel would mean now
Let's
we're
go.
moving.
Let's go,
Yeah.
Okay? But you could also release her and then say heel and go. Okay? It would just be an extra step.
okay,
So this exercise, 3 to 5 minutes, one session apiece. Okay?
Mhm.
The next thing is like with the place command. Remember we taught the send, and then we talked about not moving for a period of time. Same thing with the down.
Mhm.
Okay, the down,
Little duration work. Like.
correct. But this one's more strict because it's lay down and don't break from that position.
Yeah.
Whereas places, sit, lay
Do
down,
whatever
or
you
stand
want.
up. Just don't get off the space, okay? So what I suggest at this point is use them interchangeably. If anything, favor this one a little more just because this one's more difficult. So if she can do this, the place becomes even easier
Mhm.
because it's lenient, okay?
Yeah.
But with this one, if you're sitting at the couch with her at your feet, you would step on the leash to create that little crook. So if she starts to move, you can tap her to correct her and then go back to what you're doing,
Mhm.
okay? Same thing, you do 15 minutes, 2 hours, an hour, doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You pick and choose that length of time, okay? Questions?
and what about conflicting with a stay, you know, like say like she just went to the bathroom, like
Mhm.
should we put her into a down?
Oh, sure, well, I wouldn't, I mean, unless you love the snow. Well,
Yeah.
she's
She
fine.
does love the snow.
Yeah,
So technically you could, if she's not bothered by the snow,
yeah,
or you can do sit. So I think before I just said pull up and tap to put her in a sitting position and then say stay, was to just get you used to that, but technically now, you could say sit.
yeah,
She would go
That's
into
the
it.
implied stay.
Yeah.
that
Correct.
we're working on.
So we really only use stay when she's in either she's in the position of her own accord, or if we're in that heel,
yeah,
right? Because then it means, okay, now you don't move, I'm gonna move.
Mhm.
But then technically, if she's in a heel and you said down, she would plop down and that would come with its own implied stay.
Mhm.
And you could walk away from her, okay? And as we go forward, we're gonna now take all this stuff, start applying it to the long leash the next time I see you. So for now, keep it how you're doing it,
Mhm.
and the other stuff how you're doing it. The next time I see you, I'm gonna start showing you how to blend these things together. Can you start training for more control?
Yeah.
Okay.
She is getting better at the recall part of it, and I can see all that will incorporate, right?
Yeah.
With like recall and then having her stay in a certain place and then release her type thing, right?
Maybe,
maybe.
So I don't do recalls or breaks from stationary positions,
Okay,
because one, it's not realistic,
yeah,
and then two, it creates a problem, where she's gonna assume you're gonna call her.
yeah,
Okay, now if you wanna practice that way, I can show you how to practice it and prevent that from happening, but that's usually a common thing that does occur, and it's just up to whether or not the owner wants more homework.
we want the most practical way, so I mean, maybe not, because, I mean, yeah, the main thing that we want to work on from a recall standpoint is if something is awry, you know, as in
Yes.
like, something about her going in the street and she comes back towards us.
She's been doing good with it though. I mean,
Yeah.
it really, it's the weather. It's like not super easy to like work on it, but
Yeah.
like we talked about last week, we've been kind of layering it in with playing fetch with her.
Yeah.
So like, she'll go run and get the ball. She has it in her mouth, but like she's starting to kind of like sniff around. And I'll go, Cashew, come, tap, and like she'll come to me sometimes with the ball, sometimes without the ball, whatever. But like it's still, she's understanding what that's meaning, even with all the chaos of like snow and things like that.
Gotcha.
So I was actually pretty surprised that she was doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then here, like today, because we use food, right?
Yeah,
And again, I'm not against food. It's just, you guys aren't dog trainers, so I want the simplest thing first.
Right.
And I know I can train a dog to be off-leash reliable with only remote, okay?
yeah,
Yeah.
Now, here going forward, as we are gonna ask for more kind of advanced concepts, feel free to incorporate it, but we're not using it as a lure, right? Here, we made her do, well, in the beginning, we used it as a lure to help.
She was
but
too
then-
stressed out immediately, yeah.
Correct, and then we said, okay, we're gonna change it up a little bit, but once I got her to that point, it was pressure, and then food at the end.
Yeah.
Okay? So same thing if, let's say you're practicing recall with her, and there's a dog walking by the fence, or a person with their dog, whatever, she starts going, you call her, she returns, feed.
Yeah.
We're not waiting, you're like,
That's a
"Hey,
good-
like, this is what I got for you," right? And I use very high value stuff. I use cheese, turkey, bologna, sausage.
Loves cheese.
That was actually a gift from Karen with Summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she gives a big old huge thing of beef summer sausage.
Oh my gosh.
So I've been using it for training
Nice.
sessions.
she obviously loves it.
Yeah.
So, yes, by all means, you can use high value stuff, okay? But at the same time, it's like, if you don't do it, I'm gonna make you do it, but then when you do a really good job, I will also
Right,
reward
there's
you,
also
okay?
maybe a bonus of cheese, like
Yes, 'cause at this
layering it
stage-
in there.
You've got good handling skills, you're more familiar with the e-collar, you know, the pressure on, pressure off concept, plus she's already got a foundation of stuff, that's a real easy just, yeah.
Drop it
So if
in.
you do your stay stuff, and she holds it, and she's perfect, and you come back in, you would feed that one. Let's say she doesn't do a good one, we don't feed that one, we correct that one. So now we're gonna start balancing things out, where she's like, oh, okay, like, it's not all, you know, boot camp, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
There's a positive to it if I do perform at these higher standards. Okay?
For sure.
Gotcha.
Awesome, good job, guys.
Yeah.
Good job, Cashew.
Break,
You comfy? You gonna stay here?
break.